Hello and welcome everyone. This knowledge clip is brought to you by Adriaan, Ben and Sietse. In the next 6 minutes we are going to explain how business incubators can help in reducing the major problem of climate change. Global warming is one of the main challenges right now, with severe and possibly irreversible consequences like the melting of the ice caps. It is caused by the emission of greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide and methane. Now, take a few seconds to guess how much of the global greenhouse gas emissions is caused by energy consumption. It is a staggering 60%, which means that energy consumption is the dominant contributor to global warming. In 2014, 80% of the total energy consumption was derived from fossil fuels. So, to counter the effects of global warming, we need to reduce the carbon intensity of energy production and transition to clean energy, which is also one of the key sustainable development goals set by the UN. However, the diffusion of renewable energy technologies is rather slow. This is because of the inertia inherent to large technological systems and due to the fact that new technologies have to compete with incumbent technologies that have undergone a process of increasing returns. Incumbents in the energy industry are rigid and do not have the flexibility to change their core business quickly. Interests vested in incumbent energy technologies and firms are immense. So the benefits from the transition should be significantly greater than the ensuing costs if they are to switch. SMEs, and especially startups, can be the ideal actors for eco-innovation and can bring to market new, less environmentally damaging products, services and processes. So innovation needs to come from startups that are inherently flexible. Because startups don't have the extensive resources to compete with incumbent technologies, incubators offer a solution. Renewable energy technologies have a hard time to break through in the energy market dominated by fossil fuel technologies. This is because the incumbent fossil fuel technologies reap the benefits from economies of scale, long periods of technological learning, and social institutional embedding. A transition between technological regimes is unlikely to occur on its own, in the absence of a long-term policy commitment. The startups that develop radical innovations often start in a niche, then work through the patchwork of regimes to eventually change the landscape. To ensure that these niches get the space to work freely, certain policies can be installed. Not all markets have the same properties, so sectoral policy, next to a correct infrastructural system, is needed. In order to achieve a transition to clean energy, there needs to be alignment between transition policy and innovation policy. This alignment is expected in the case of clean energy, where policy seeks to create new, profitable industries that also contribute to a more sustainable society.
Policy commitments can take the form of setting up incubators to facilitate and support innovative, sustainable startups. Help from incubators is important in order to increase survival rate of startups and bridge the so-called valley of death. Incubators can do so by providing the startup with a network of investors and experts in the field. Furthermore, incubators can help startups in terms of business support, like developing their business model, helping with administration, or attracting finance in the form of grants or private capital. This provides the incubee with more time to do other things, like focus on developing their technology further. America can be seen as the frontrunner when it comes to sustainable innovation incubators, with big sustainable business incubators like Green Spaces, The Grove, and the Clean Energy Business Incubator Program. These 3 incubators operate in more than 20 countries, have over 100 firms in their portfolio, and make millions of dollars in profit. So, how exactly do these green business incubators help sustainable energy startups? A clear example is the just mentioned Clean Energy Business Incubator Program, that promotes successful partnerships between early-stage clean tech companies and regional incubators. Since 2009, 6 clean tech incubators were established through the program. Each incubator receives up to $1.5 million over the course of 4 years, which is paid out according to milestones. They've assisted client companies in raising $41 million in private capital and attracting $11 million in federal funding. And the 6 incubators have nurtured the introduction of 33 new products to serve the clean energy market. It is important that countries in the European Union follow America's lead. Programs like the Clean Energy Business Incubator Program do already exist in the European Union because of its long tradition of clean tech innovation. An example is Climate Kick, a European Commission-funded program that supports environment-focused startups at universities. However, the European Union has invested just a fraction in clean tech startups compared to America. Most startups in Europe remain heavily dependent on state financing, since Europe does not have the capital infrastructure of America, where there is an abundance of venture capitalists. Moreover, the number of startups is not as large as in the US, where hundreds of companies can compete for financing. Thus, there is still work to be done for the EU to catch up in this field, and for startups in clean energy to become as successful commercially as in the US. In order to let the introduced clean tech incubation policy work in the European Union and to foster the development of new sustainable technologies, the following needs to be done. Flexible startups that produce radical innovations in the field of energy technology need to be supported, and the niches in which they operate should be protected from incumbents. The countries in the EU should invest more in clean tech startups, which are dependent on state financing because of the lack of good VC infrastructure. Through policy, the EU should focus on setting up incubators that support the development of renewable energy technologies with the potential to be both profitable and sustainable, by helping the startups with their business model, to emphasize the profit part. This leads to alignment between innovation policy and transition policy. We hope that this knowledge clip has inspired you, and we would like to thank everyone for watching.